In this video, I'm going to attempt to guide you through the optimal gear progression for the melee combat style. I say attempt because there's a ton of factors at play that would determine which upgrade you should get next. Melee is the most niched out of all of the combat styles, and it has the most special attack weapons. This means that the content that you are wanting to be doing is going to dictate what type of upgrades you should focus on. I'm going to ignore this entirely and try to be as general as humanly possible. We're also going to be segmenting this by the cost of your setup. This is the best way to do these guides because it takes way less time to get max combat than it does to get max cash. All right, let's get my face out of there, get you some membership, and start upgrading this gear set. Let's fill up some of those empty slots and get us some climbing boots. They're essentially free. I think they're like 200 GP, and they give us 2 strength bonus. The combat bracelet is a great next upgrade. This is going to cost like 12.5K, and it's going to give us both accuracy and strength bonus. I recommend upgrading to an amulet of glory. This is going to lower our strength bonus, but it does give us a lot of accuracy, but it also gives us some teleports around the map, some prayer bonus. In general, it's just more utility than the strength amulet. If you do have 60 attack, I recommend getting your hands on the dragon scimitar as soon as humanly possible. This is almost a straight 50% increase in both accuracy and strength bonus over the rune scimitar. A less meaningful upgrade, we're gonna get the rune boots. This is gonna give us some defense, no accuracy or strength bonus, but they do only cost like 6K. The mixed hide cape and top both give us a strength bonus. They do have a small negative slash bonus on them, so our accuracy did decrease just a little bit, but overall I do think that the strength bonus is worth it in most cases. If you are using stab and range, this is a great hybrid option, and in that case I would recommend using the legs. But as the legs did not give us a strength bonus, I did not include them in our setup. You should note that these do require 60 range in order to equip them. If you do not have 60 range, I would skip these for the time being. The Helm of Nadasnot is a great upgrade for you as well. Also, it is free and you get it from the quest. This is going to give us some strength bonus, some prayer bonus, and some defense bonus. Next up, we're going to get a blessing. Any blessing off the Grand Exchange will do at this point. Eventually, you do want to work your way up to getting the current 4 blessing as it gives you an extra prayer bonus. Next up, you're going to get Barrow's gloves. I know you have to do questing, but it's time to grow a pair and just get it over with. Barrow's gloves are going to be your best in slot gloves for all attack styles until you're in the late game. Getting your Dragon Defender is going to be a massive increase in DPS. It gives you a ton of accuracy and 6 strength bonus. This is going to require a combined total of 130 levels in both attack and strength. There's no hard requirement for which one you need, so I just set these to 65, and then it does require 60 defense in order to equip. It is time for the original RuneScape rite of passage. You're going to go get your Fire Cape. The Fire Cape is not only just a great test of your own abilities in the early game, it is also going to give us a defense bonus, a prayer bonus, an accuracy bonus, and most importantly, that strength bonus. And I can already hear you grumbling in the comment section. Yes, go and get your fighter torso. Barbarian Assault is really not that bad. Just be the person who makes the party, and then you can choose who's on it, and you should have no problems whatsoever. You could probably add these special attack weapons much earlier on in your progression, but I recommend the Dragon Dagger for straight DPS, and then the Bone Dagger to lower your opponent's defense. We're gonna get the Explorer's Ring next, or probably before this, to be honest with you. It is free, you get it from the Lumbridge Diary, and it gives us 1 prayer bonus. Next, we're gonna get the Dragon Boots. This gives us 2 more strength bonus, and it's going to make us look like an absolute Chad. The last upgrade that I want to get before we move on past the 1 mil tier is a set of Barrow's legs. You can also get the Dragon legs beforehand before you get the 70 defense required, but eventually you do want to upgrade to the Barrow's legs. You can get any of them. It doesn't matter all too much. I personally think that you should go with the Varak skirt though. The Varak skirt not only provides you with pretty decent defense, but it also gives you a prayer bonus. Hey guys, don't worry, I'll get right back to the video. If you are enjoying the video, make sure that you do like the video. It helps me out a lot. I'm trying to regrow this channel after a bunch of stuff in real life happened, so greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and back to the guide. The one downside you might find is that when you are training, it does train all attack styles at once or just attack or defense. So if you want to just train your strength, you are going to have to find out something else. Next up, we're going to get our Berserker Ring, and we're going to imbue that to get our B Ring Eye. This is going to cost us 4 mil, and the time it costs to imbue it, look that up. There's several different ways up on the wiki to do it. But this is going to give us 8 strength bonus, and this is going to remain in that ring slot for quite a while. Next, I recommend getting the Amulet of Fury. While on paper, paper here, it might not seem like that big of an upgrade. Believe me, it is. Keep that glory in the bank for teleports, because the Amulet of Fury is going to give us additional strength bonus, prayer bonus, and a heaping load of defense bonuses in every attack style. While not part of the core gear, I recommend you get your hands on a Slayer Helm or a Black Mask as soon as humanly possible. This is going to give you a 16.66% boost to your melee, and it is absolutely worth having for anybody who wants to touch the Slayer skill. First upgrade in this tier is going to be the Abyssal Tentacle. We're going to replace this in 1 second here, but the Abyssal Tentacle, while it is degradable, does give us some additional accuracy and strength bonus. This is going to be a great weapon if you're going after the Theater of Blood, or just if you cannot equip a Fang yet. Next, we are going to replace that whip immediately with the Osmumten's Fang, as long as you have 82 attack. I do understand that this is a little steep and you might not have this yet, but work your way up to it, and as soon as you can, get your hands on that Fang. The reason the Fang is so good is that it rolls your accuracy twice, which just makes it extremely accurate. It is a 5-tick weapon though, so if you are going up against a monster with very low defense, this is going to be less DPS. But if you're doing anything like the Tombs of Amasket, Chambers of Zarek, or anything with monsters that have high defense, this is a great option for you to use. Next, we're going to get the Obsidian Plate Legs. While these only do give us 1 strength bonus, that is 1 strength bonus that we didn't have before. Before we move on to some of the bigger upgrades, you should get your hands on the Crystal Halberd, also known as the Chally. This is great as a DPS style special attack weapon, but it does have a massive cooldown after you use the attack, so you want to use this when you know it's going to be your last attack. This is great for the Theater of Blood and a ton of the combat achievements. You're going to want to get your hands on Arclight. This is going to be great against demons. It's good for Demon Slayer tasks. It's going to be great for Cerberus, for the Abyssal Sire, and I'm sure it has uses in other places as well. Now, at this point, what you get next is going to greatly depend on what you want to do in game. I suggest you get your hands on a defense reducing special attack weapon, either the Bando's Godsword or the Dragon Warhammer. The Dragon Warhammer is great if you want to focus on the Chambers of Zarek and the Theater of Blood. However, I do think for most people who are watching this video, a Bando's Godsword is going to be a better pick for you. Our last upgrade for this tier is the Ferocious Gloves, bringing us pretty much exactly to 50 mil. They're best in slot for this, giving us both accuracy and strength bonus. They do require Dragon Slayer 2 in order to equip them. If you don't have it done, go and get it done, then get yourself a pair of gloves. From here on out, all of our upgrades are extremely expensive, except for this one. Pick yourself up a Lightbearer. It's only a couple of mil right now. What the Lightbearer does is it makes your special attack energy regenerate twice as fast, so essentially you can use twice as many special attacks. Next up, we're going to get our Amulet of Torture. This is the best in slot for the Amulet slot. It's going to give us both accuracy and strength bonus, but it does have the downside of none of the defense bonuses of the Fury. We're going to upgrade our leg slot with the Blood Moon Tassets. These actually give you the same strength bonus as Bando's Tassets, but they only cost around 6.5 mil right now. They do degrade though, so there is a little bit of a trade-off. Our next upgrade is going to be the Nate is Not Face Guard. It was between this and the Primordial Boots, but the Face Guard wins out overall. We get 3 additional strength bonus over the prior Nate is Not Helm. It wouldn't be my video if I didn't tell you to get your Infernal Cape way before most people actually do. But go and get your Infernal Cape. This is going to give you more accuracy, actually 4 times as much accuracy as the Fire Cape and twice as much strength. All joking aside, I believe that every player is capable of getting their Infernal Cape. Not only is it a very powerful piece of gear, but it's a massive rite of passage as well. It's kind of like your gateway into the end game. I recommend you start trying to go for your cape once you can afford a Bofa setup, because that's going to make it a lot more doable for most players. I think you're officially rich now. 500 mil is a lot to spend on just one setup, especially melee. People usually overspend on range, I feel, for good reason. Anyways, the first thing that I think you should get is the Voidwaker or Dragon Claws, depending on what type of content you're doing. I think Voidwaker overall, as a jack of all trades, is going to be a better thing than the Claws, but if you send a ton of the Theater of Blood, by all means, get the Claws, go for it. But what you want here is just a really high-hitting special attack weapon. Both of them check that box, and both of them are great in their own right. I know the price tag essentially doubled what our setup cost earlier, but it is worth every penny. Next, I think you should get the Dragon Warhammer, or if you already got the Dragon Warhammer, get the BGS. At this point, you're going to want to have both of these. They do similar things, but it is different. The Dragon Warhammer is a percentage-based reduction of defense, where the Bando's Godsword is a nominal. So when you are lowering the defense of a monster, especially in teams, especially in things like the Theater of Blood or the Chambers of Zarek, you want to do your Dragon Warhammers first, then the BGSs with specs second. Next, we're going to get our best in slot boots, the Primordials. These give us 1 strength bonus over the dragons and 2 accuracy points. Quite a bit to spend for that. Next up, we're going to get the Bando's armor. I'm choosing this one because it has the same strength bonuses as our prior gear, but it makes us a hell of a lot more tanky. Some of you might disagree, and with good reason. It doesn't really give us any more offensive capabilities, but I think the extra defense is worth it. Man, it was really hard to come up with the next upgrade. So many of the different upgrades from here on out are either incredibly expensive and honestly out of this budget for the time being, or just super duper niche. I think one that just complements everything else that we have out on the page is the Altar Ring. This is going to give us 4 additional strength points for a total of 12 and is our best in slot ring. Next up, we're going to get the Avernic Defender hilt, and this one isn't going to apply to everybody. It is a great upgrade. It gives us both accuracy and strength bonus. Who doesn't love a double whammy? But there is a downside to this. Like herpes, once you get this, it's with you for life. So if you're close to a major upgrade, like with this, the Scythe is probably the next like super big upgrade that you'd be going for, or a T-Bow, or like a Shadow, or just some other thing that you're looking to buy in game. I would hold off on this one just because you can't get the money back from it. Let's talk about the Blood Fury really quick. At this point, everyone should get one if you don't already have one. Depending on the content that you run, it probably makes sense to have one earlier than this. The Blood Fury has the same stats as a normal Fury, but it has a passive effect where you have a 20% chance to heal 30% of the damage that you hit back to you. This works out to about 6% of the damage that you deal healed back. This is great for content that you could really use the extra healing, like the Tombs of Amasket or hard mode Theater of Blood, but they also make you a lot of money. The Blood Fury is charged with blood shards that currently cost 14 mil each, meaning that each hit with a normal weapon costs 1.4k or 4.2k if you're using a Scythe. If you can't afford a Scythe yet, but you still want to kick some serious ass, I recommend the Soul Reaper axe. It's incredibly accurate, hits extremely hard. The stats on paper don't fully do the axe justice, as the axe does come with a passive effect. Every time you hit in a row, you get damaged by 8 HP, but you also boost your strength level by 6%. This caps out at 5 stacks for a 30% boost as long as you don't interrupt your attacking for more than 20 ticks or unequip the axe. Here's the part that I've been waiting for. We're getting the Scythe of Vitter. This is a massive upgrade and it's super expensive right now, like 1.3 mil for this thing, and it is completely worth it. I might sound a little bit overhyped. This is my favorite item in the game. It's just so cool, but also it's incredibly good at what it does. So you might have noticed that the stats actually decreased here on paper, but the Scythe of Vitter hits 3 times on monsters that are a 3x3, 2 times on a monster that is 2x2, and just 1 hit splat on a regular 1 square monster. The Scythe isn't the most accurate, but this does mean that if the monster is lower defense, or if you lower the defense, the Scythe is going to be best in slot on pretty much everything that is a 3x3, and a large amount of the 2x2 monsters as well. But what should you get for the other monsters that occupy only 1 square? I'm so glad you asked. There's a 3-way tie for a best in slot for this category. We have the Garazi Rapier, the Salad Blade, or the Blade of Saldor, and the Inquisitor's Mace. All of these have about the same stats, but all in a different attack style. The Rapier, if you can look at it, it's for stab, the Salad Blade's for slash, and then the Inquisitor's Mace is for crush. Here's the fun thing though, the Rapier's like 53 mil right now, and all the other ones are well over 100, so just get the Rapier and get the other ones later. And here we are, the very last upgrade to our base melee set. We have Torva. Wait, one sec. There we go. Torva's great. It is the best. It's the best in slot for all of the slots that it occupies. However, the boost that it gives you is not big for the amount of money that you spend. It's extremely tanky. It gives you the biggest strength bonus you can get in each one of those slots, but it's also going to run you more than 900 mil. Don't get me wrong, totally worth getting, but also get everything else first. And once you have everything completed, you don't have everything completed because you need to get Full Inquisitor. Full Inquisitor is super niche. It's pretty much used exclusively to kill Nightmare in order to get more Inquisitor to sell to other people to do Nightmare. That being said, Full Ink with the Ink Mace can give you like the best DPS in the game outside of the Scythe. It absolutely slaps, and if you do have the money for it, and you are doing something that would warrant it, I absolutely suggest you should get this. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I know that I skipped a ton of stuff, and the reason I did is, 1, I probably forgot, but 2, Melee is so niched out. There's so many different little circumstances that would make sense for you to get a different item, like the Sardom and Godsword. If you do a lot of Slayer, it might be a good thing to get for Slayer. It could be good for the Dagonoth Kings, just so you could stay longer. It's great for the Colosseum, but that doesn't really apply to every single scenario on here. I tried to pick the things that could apply to as many scenarios as humanly possible. That being said, there's so many different scenarios, and it's really hard to try to accommodate every possible thing. So if you have some dumb, annoying little "what about this situation" comment, leave that down below. I'll try to answer it. And with that being said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.